And you talked about impact. And it's interesting because I did want to touch on something that, almost in a way eclipses what you've been able to do on the field. And that's being recognized as a Walter Payton Man of the Year Award finalist in 2 seasons, I believe, 2018 and this past season, 2021. And I just want to give you an opportunity to talk about a legacy of serving others and kind of where you got that from and just what that impact on others has meant for your career.
The thing is there was never a time where I felt that I needed to be recognized for wanting to be able to serve and help people. And at the end of the day, I talked about, kind of my upbringing, but it was my mother and my father that taught me how to serve, my grandfather who taught me how to serve. Serve people in the church, and then it went to serving people outside of the church, and then it went to college and it was serving people in and around SMU and around the SMU bubble that's there in University Park and Highland Park. And then in Pittsburgh, it was serving North Side over in Pittsburgh. In Jacksonville, it was serving the North Side there in Jacksonville. In New York, it was serving the New York area and the Harlem area while I was in New York. And now here in Arizona, it's about serving the Roosevelt district and what they have going on in the Roosevelt district. So at the end of the day, it's all about serving where I am and where I'm at and being able to then go back and serve where I've come from. So being able to always pour into Mahia, always pour into Dallas, I always pour into Pittsburgh, I always pour into Jacksonville, I always pour into greater New York, and now I always pour into Arizona. And it's just been this moment and this time that I feel that is what I get energy from. I get energy from going to doing a volunteer distribution or a volunteering packing for distribution. I get energy from seeing young people learning how to code and young people learning what it's like to interact with a computer and what that process is like. I get a lot of energy from going to a developing country and seeing what having access to water would do for a community. I get a ton of energy from that. And for me, it energizes me to want to do more. And then when I travel and I see the things that I see, I'm like, well, I need to put some resources here. I need to garner some support. And being able to go to India, man, I saw some things in India that, I just never knew existed. And I've been to some of the parts of Africa that are very rough. But seeing some of those things there in India, I'm like, World Vision, which is my global partner, how can we do some things in India? So I think it's being able to see the need and then actually do something about it. And I've always said this, don't just talk about it, but be about it, because everybody can see that there are issues and there are problems that are going on in our society. But what are we going to do to actually combat it and find a solution for it? And for me, it's all about finding solutions. Don't attack the problem. What was that Gansism?
You're not attacking the person, you're attacking the problem.
There it is. You're not attacking the person, you're attacking the problem. I'm not talking about governments. I'm not talking about public sector. I'm not talking about private sector, but there is a problem, and I want to go and attack that problem and find a solution forward.
Yeah, I love that. And obviously, you're not doing it for the recognition of the Walter Payton Award or anything like that, but I think it is just kind of a symbolic gesture towards the significance that you've had on so many from Mahia, Texas, all across the world. So obviously, just a wonderful legacy that you're leaving behind. And, another part of your legacy in combination with your philanthropy has been your business acumen that you've grown here over the last 5-6 years and probably even previous to that. Just kind of share with us a little bit about kind of like where you're looking to be involved. I know you mentioned coding earlier, and I know STEM is an area that you are very passionate about. So just kind of talk about where you're involved in and kind of where that passion came from for business.
Yeah, the thing is, man, I mentioned my dad earlier. So my grandfather taught my dad how to work on cars. My dad took it to Beachum 2.0 and turned it into a business, family-owned business. I took it to 3.0, and I've just taken it to places that I don't think anybody thought was possible. And I would say, and sorry about the noise in the back. That's my kids in the back. Hopefully they can close that down just a little bit when he does the audio. But seeing my dad work, I was like, there has to be a more efficient way of doing this. It has to be a more business savvy way to be able to do this. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go to SMU and I'm gonna go to Cox School of Business. That didn't work out too well. Again, failing forward. I wasn't able to get into the Cox School of Business, but was able to get into the education, the economic department. I got my master's, got my my major in economics and started to think about, what does money look like? How does it flow? Where does it flow from? And then you've been around SMU, you see oil and gas, you see real estate, and you just start getting exposed to so many different things. And I think more than anything, the exposure is what drove the curiosity into some of these other businesses. Because as I left SMU, it was all about, let me follow the oil and gas industry. I followed the oil and gas industry. You have the Marcellus Shale that's blowing up there in Pittsburgh. And then, price per barrel plummets, right around the time that I blow my knee out. And I'm like, all right, well, oil and gas might not be the way. I was spending time with Chevron at the time. I'm like, well, man, this may not be the way. So I thought about going to CMU and get my MBA in business, and had a mentor that was at AT&T. It was like, Kelvin, I don't think that's the best route for you. Let me teach you some things, and I think I'll help you out quite a bit. So, the Super Bowl happened in 2016, and I went out there and got to see what technology looked like, and the growth of technology, and how fast and how exponentially fast, and the exponential wealth that was flowing through that particular industry. And man, it just took me by storm. It's become an addiction. Went out there for an internship to start out, went out there for another internship. And then every summer, every spring, I just go spend some time out there in San Francisco. I'll find somebody I can stay with and stay at their house, and then go take meetings and have dinners at their house, and go to other people's houses, and then, walk down Sand Hill Road where all the legacy and the legendary venture capitalist offices are. And that compounding started to happen. That lagniappe that I was putting in, that little extra was starting to take place. And then I got to New York, man. And you think about New York, it's the Mecca. Everything is on steroids there in New York. Financial services, tech, art, design, anything that you want was there in New York. And I think that next moment was really, that was like, rocket fuel, there in New York. And then as I got to Arizona, it's been like this process of being able to strategize a lot more and utilize all these relationships and all the, the connections that I've had over the years that have built up in every place that I've played in Mahia, in Dallas, New York, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, and how all those relationships kind of come into form as you start to be in different ecosystems, as you start to be in different boardrooms and different meetings, and how those things are just interconnected. Because the business world is really small, but you have to make sure that you're a great person, because people don't want to mess with a-holes. They don't want to spend time with a-holes. They ain't trying to lose money, and they want to be around people that they like. They want to do business with people that they like. And when you show yourself to be friendly and you're willing to give a little bit, you'd be surprised what happens. And we both know this saying all too well: what you give will grow, what you keep, you lose. And I've been somebody that I take pride in being able to give, not only financially, not only with my time, with my resources. And it's really come back to me in ways, again, that I've never thought were imaginable.